Good morning, everyone. This is MightyStream. I'm brought to you by the Hope Through Navigation organization, and this is our H.O.O.D Recovery Services. H.O.O.D stands for Hope Offered on Demand. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Let me repeat that. recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. And I will try to make sure that I share that screen with that information on it before I end the meditation just for today. Today is April the 5th, and wow, we're already 5 days into the month of April. And it's not really feeling a lot like spring, but I'm sure that it's coming. I told you a couple weeks ago that spring would be coming and that we should look forward to the new beginnings. We should look forward to shedding our old skin and wearing our new skin, shedding the old heart that's bitter and stone, and letting the one made of flesh that feels and beats come through. I'm excited for today. I am excited for today. I mean, I popped up out of bed excited. I had some thoughts that I hadn't had in a very long time. I was like, I should go to the gym. I've been going to the YMCA with the boys, but I don't get a chance to work out for myself. We mostly play racquetball, and we've been having some issues with the staff there. I feel like every time I go, my boys are treated differently. My family is treated differently. And so I was thinking about trying the YMCA near me out here where I live. It's a different one. It's a little bit smaller, but I also think that it will the atmosphere will be more conducive to my family. But anyway, I jumped up out of bed and I was like, I should go to Planet Fitness today. I should go in there and get my workout. And you know what I decided to do? I decided to make my coffee and at least record the Just for Today meditation before I do that. It's 5:42 a.m. and I will have plenty of time to get to the gym, but I don't want to miss this opportunity to share with you the Just for Today. And you know how that is. Sometimes you get going and things get so far from you, and before you know it, you haven't done the things that you said or thought you would do. And so I want to be responsible about this. This is April 5th, Just for Today in a meditation. The title of it is Identification. Someone finally knew the crazy thoughts that I had and the crazy things I'd done. Let me repeat that. Someone finally knew the crazy thoughts that I had and the crazy things I'd done. I'm sure they're talking about the fourth step here. Actually, the fifth step, sharing your fourth step with someone is the process of the fifth step. And so let's find out exactly what it has to say. It says, addicts often feel terminally unique. We're sure that no one used drugs like we did or had to do the things that we did to get them. Finally, our feeling that no one really understands us keeps us from recovery for many years. I want to repeat that. Feeling that no one really understands us can keep us from recovery for many years. This is powerful. Okay. But once we come to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, we begin to lose that feeling of being the worst or the craziest. We listen as members share their experiences. We discover that others have walked the same twisted path that we've walked and still have been able to find recovery, we begin to believe that recovery is available to us too. As we progress in our recovery, sometimes our thinking is still insane. However, we find that when we share the hard time we may be having, others identify, sharing how they have felt with such difficulties. No matter how troubled our thinking seems, we find hope when others relate to us, passing along the solutions they found. We begin to believe that we can survive whatever we're going through to continue on in our recovery. The gift of Narcotics Anonymous is that we learn we are not alone. We can get clean and stay clean by sharing our experience, our strength, and even our crazy thinking with other members. When we do, we open ourselves to the solutions others have found to the challenges we face. Just for today, I am grateful that I can identify with others. Today, I will listen as they share their experience, and I'll share mine with them. Wow. I like this meditation for today, and I'll tell you why. I feel like it normalizes the uncomfortable feelings and thoughts that individuals have. It normalizes what we may consider as the worst or the craziest feelings. It normalizes the ability or opportunity to share honestly with someone else or in a meeting. We have a saying in the program that what's said here stays here. We can share the message, but not the messenger, right? And so we know that the way things are supposed to operate is that you go into a meeting, you identify yourself by your first name or whatever, right? But you don't identify yourself by your last name. And you're able to sit there anonymously and share what's going on with you. Because even here it says, as we progress in our recovery, sometimes our thinking is still insane. And I think it's easier to come in an atmosphere of recovery and share what we're thinking, understanding that the people on the receiving end, they serve the purpose of service work. They serve the purpose of community. They serve the purpose of being a sounding board so that you can get it off of your chest. And most of the time, in the time limit that you have to share, you give yourself the answer, right? It's just being able to hear you process your thoughts, get them out there, and the people are listening. And some may be judging, but generally speaking, they're so consumed with their own issues that they're listening, but a lot of them are really half listening. They're not listening in the sense of, oh, I need to give this person feedback and give them advice or a suggestion. A lot of times you will find individuals in the meeting that they start to remember similar feelings and circumstances that stirred those feelings up. And they will remember the actions that they took to come through it clean. Or they may remember the actions that they took that were unhealthy and caused them to relapse mentally, spiritually, and then physically. And so a lot of times when you share, you will find people all of a sudden have a similar experience and they will be like, man, that was such a good share. That made me think about a time that I did such and such and such and such. And I remember because I didn't want to apply all of the principles to all of my affairs. Like I wanted to tell a half truth, right? Lie by omission. I suffered dearly. People try to help me, but I wasn't able to get all of the help that I needed because I wasn't telling all of the truth that I needed to tell, right? And so people might share like that, and I think that's healthy. I think that's positive. I think that that allows people to identify. But I can also say from what I'm seeing in in the Zoom platform meetings is that when you go to share a similar experience to something that you've already heard someone else share, usually the level of humility I'm seeing, like that issue the person initially shared, they're still sensitive about it. They're still on edge about it. And a lot of times, even if you're coming from a good place and you're sharing your experience, strength, and hope, I find that it's oftentimes taken as cross sharing and it's oftentimes taken as offensive. Um, In person meetings, I think, have a tendency to cut down on that, right? Um, Yeah. So, but I still want to encourage each and every person to share their own experience, strength, and hope. I think that when you are at a meeting, if you're sharing your own experience, your own strengths, and your own hope, that's when the message that comes from the heart can touch the heart. There's some meetings that I go to, I never share. Not that I don't ever think about sharing because I'm full of gratitude and feel like I can always share from a space of gratitude. However, there's some meetings that I just sit and listen. I feel like my season of having to share at a meeting, at every meeting, is over. I feel like that season of desperation has passed. So when I go to a meeting, a lot of times I'm there because I want to be in the atmosphere of recovery, but I don't feel a need to share. It's very infrequent that I actually have gone to an in-person meeting and shared. And this isn't new. This isn't just since the pandemic. No, this has been going on for a few years now. I just enjoy being available to hear people, hear, where they're at, what they're going through, and sitting there in the service that I give, it comes in the form of listening intently. I really try to listen to people intently. Not so much like that stare down or that deep eye contact, but I just try to sit there and look their general direction, um, nod a few times, especially if they're saying something I can relate to. I try to just be there for others that way. Yeah, it works. There's sometimes something to hit my spirit, and I will share that. Um, this is funny. I've yawned like since I've started this. I've yawned like 10 times, and I'm just wondering, like I'm wondering, like the process of waking up, the beautiful process of being able to wake up. A lot of people didn't wake up today. But I was just thinking as I was yawning for the 10th time trying to do a podcast, I was thinking about how does the process of waking up relate to recovery? And I think that, I haven't been up quite a half an hour, but I've been up and I've started my coffee, and it seems like the drowsiness is taking a long time to come, to come off. Like I'm still a bit sleepy. But I do know that before the boys wake up, I will be in full gear. And the process of waking up seems slow. And I just want to challenge you today to experience the gift of Narcotics Anonymous, the gift of recovery. You may not be in the fellowship of NA, but you have a community of people that you deal with every day. And I want you to experience that gift of community. I want you to allow your coworkers or the people that you deal with every day to have input, have a say, like listen to their experience and then share yours, right? It says that this gift of Narcotics Anonymous is what is that we learn we are not alone. I want for today for you to, just for today, be grateful that you can identify with others. I want you to listen. I'm having a hard time highlighting what I want, but I want you to listen as they share their experience and then share yours. I want you to just try it. Even if it takes like 5 extra minutes to listen to them at the coffee pot. Even if it takes 5 extra minutes, I want you to go the extra mile with your neighbor today. I want for you to listen to them. And when they're done, and I will practice the same thing, when they're done sharing, I want you to take about 1 to 2 minutes sharing something that comes from your experience. You can start it out like when they're done, you could say, okay, say maybe it's a mother who has lost her son to gun violence. And maybe you have a nephew that you've lost to gun violence. Or maybe you have a loved one that you recently lost to some poor health or old age. So when they get done sharing, I want it to look something like this so that it's genuine. If you've experienced something similar, right, related to gun violence, you can indicate that. But if not, and you've just lost someone through some other reason, I want you to say, wow, thank you for sharing that with me. I know that must have been a very difficult, or that is a difficult time for you. You know, I don't have the same experience, but I can relate to the feeling of loss. I can relate to the grieving. You know, my grandmother just passed away, and she and I were very close. So I want you to go into your experience that you can relate to, right? I want you to share it just briefly. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out, but I want you to start building, help us build the spirit of community, help us build the spirit of love and listening and giving, right? It's time for all of us to understand that we're no longer locked down. We're not locked down anymore in this pandemic. And we can indeed start taking time to meet people. You can still wear your mask if you want to, but to meet people where they're at, meet them at the coffee shop, meet them at the coffee pot, and have a conversation about a little or a lot. I'm rhyming this morning. I'm having a good morning. I'm starting to come to myself. I hope that you have a beautiful day. I am most certainly going to make this April 5th the best April 5th that you've ever had. I plan to. Talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.